Don't pray for Paris. Prayer is the modus of the perpetrators. Those who claim a higher calling to commit whatever deeds belief will justify. The righteous murderer who wields the hand of God to strike down doubt and reason and mop them up in our blood. The porcelain demi-tasse lies shattered, pale splintered fragments littering the cobblestone. The secular terrace meal is frozen in time, interrupted between the courses. Our lives pause forever between the courses. Don't pray for Paris, even though it's no longer safe to dine outdoors under the streetlights. Reason is the enemy of belief, so seek no reason in faith. Don't ask why, instead ask, au nom de quoi? Don't pray for Paris, instead swig un coup de vin pour Paris. The claret flows rough tonight, so swallow down hard. It'll help choke back the tears.
I'm going to read something from what is currently my favorite volume from someone who isn't dead and or male. This is from The Wingless by Cecilia Lompart, and just because she's a poet and life is complicated, her last name is spelled L-O-M-P-A-R-T, should you want to figure. Alright, this is called The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in the gleam of polished silverware, in the indigo smudge exposed between layers of dust when we swipe a gloved finger across the sky, in pupils as they widen, in the blood and breezes and tongues that swell purple with words, and in the gaping mouths of fish. Hallowed be the broken aria of the clouds, choir that angels would sell their wings to join. Trumpet yourself into the tender coil of our ears, not so much with velocity or smothered between commercial breaks, but with more plunk and more ripple, like the rusty acoustics of a playground or the dry scrape of ceramic bowls ushered around a dinner table. Thy kingdom slip from the salty grip of stage hands to drop and jerk on cables like some plump marionette, but draw the curtains apart slowly. Let us rouge our cheeks before your coming. Oh, escort to the upper room. Deus ex machina, dangling stiff and pigeon-toed. Thy will be cradled in the softest arms, unbuttoned and put to sleep between plastic dolls, be mopped off the floors, sewn into our collars with the size and a note to see reverse for care, cut into portions the size of parables, and pierced with toothpicks, taken with bread, with wine, like bread, like wine. Give us this day our daily flask, our daily fossil exhibit, our daily Holocaust survivor, our daily ticker-tape parade, the headlines in bold, and a daily puddle to soak them in. May we never count our blessings before they hatch. May there always be the other cheek. May we bleed internally. And forgive us our secrets, our silence, our scabs, the way the wind rubs itself against us until we grieve with it, the way we make time go faster by closing one eye, slower by crossing two arms. Forgive everything we store in Ziploc bags and freeze overnight. As we forgive those who refuse to believe in the buzz of their own green dreams, those who lick their fingertips and pinch flames out instead of letting wax be wax, as we forgive those who hold a finger up to pluck their lips and demonstrate how to deflate, who store furniture on the highest shelf. Oh, excuse me, who store the future on the highest shelf. All right. Lead us not up and down aisle after supermarket aisle, confections to cut your teeth on to put a crack in every smile. You squinted at blurs for miles, road more traveled by, towns with lean, mispronounceable street names between rocks and other hard places. Lead us not into the lion's den unless the exit sign is lit within. But deliver us from ourselves, from digital watches, from gargling cliches before bed, from casting pearls or worse, stringing them, stuffing our pockets. Deliver us from paradise and whatever koi tree grows there, biting from biting into apple after apple after apple after apple. For thine are the clenched teeth and the broken taillights, are the branches that droop with their overzealous fruit, blistering to nourish the soil, while over-ripened bellies plead through lips of cracked clay for 20 cents a day, forever and ever, times infinity. Amen.
It's called Black Beautiful Butterfly. Black Beautiful Butterfly, walking down the borderline. God bless me with this Black Beautiful Borderline, all alone, cruising down the Tijuana borderline. This Black Beautiful Butterfly is in the sky, flying high. I wonder why I saw this beautiful black butterfly cruising down the Tijuana borderline. But why does it rain pennies in heaven?
When shit stops going your way, that's when you use that free ride credit and catch the first Uber going in the opposite direction. Hell, even if it takes you to hell, who complains about a free ride? I just hope you still have that second free ride credit to get you back home. Because toilets often get it twisted, water spins counterclockwise, and shit will sure enough not go down the way you think it's supposed to. But in a world in which you didn't choose your name, the color of your eyes, the color of your skin, or even choose to be born, who's to say which way is yours to go the way you want it to? Wake up and realize the world is not yours to control. When reality really sets in, you'll understand the real meaning of going with the flow. Because the more you think you're in control, the more likely you are to swim against the current, the more likely you are to drown. Settle down, settle down. Take a look up at the stars and take a second to comprehend the expansiveness of the minuscule place you call home. Whether you believe in the Big Bang or that God created the world in 7 days, no one can deny that it all started with one. So whether you follow the domino effect of the Big Bang to the creation of our solar system, or from God to the creation of Adam and Eve, you'll understand that one thing always leads to multiple others. So just as you had no control over the domino effect that led to you coming to be, your mind never needed your authorization to begin accumulating memories, any more than your heart needed drum lessons from you to keep a beat. So at what exact moment in your life did you take the wheel? Yeah, shit just got real. Well, let's first take a second to give a shout out to that free ride service that covers shit when it stops going the way we think it's supposed to. Now let's come back to your mind in that moment of first control. My guess is that you're having trouble finding it. Well, it's one thing to not be able to find something because you've misplaced it, but it's something completely different to be in search of something which may have never existed. Either way, is it safe to say that you've lost your mind? Well, before you have yourself placed in a straitjacket or padded room, let me remind you of the domino effect you had no control over, which led to you being you. So yes, crazy is as crazy does, but what if crazy never was? What if you're sitting in a flight simulator cursing a steering wheel that never controlled the plane, just because shit's not going your way? But if your mind and body never needed any prior direction from you to function, who are you to assume control at this junction? Better yet, who are you? You see, most of us suffer from a major case of mistaken identity with the mind and body. With a constant focus on the world around us, we become a snowball of consciousness rolling downhill, continually accumulating and collecting a mental map of our surroundings, only to compare the size of our snowballs once we reach the bottom. Well, let's shed some light on the truth. And whether that light is the sun or the Son of God, I'll let you choose. But we'll all come to a point in our lives when that light begins to melt away all the mental and material images we believe ourselves to be. And there will become nothing left but that common thread of consciousness that connects you with me. So as we all roll downhill and accumulate snow, the ride may leave us with some bumps, bruises, and even chills from the cold. But since we had no control over the hill we were placed on, or the snow that was placed there, why in the world would we believe we can control any of the other shit that's placed in the way? So when shit doesn't go down the way you think it's supposed to, I suggest you close the toilet seat, Remember that life is a downhill journey. Keep rolling and enjoy the free ride.
I have a poem from Langston Hughes that I'm going to read. It's called I Too Sing America. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
Corrected, triggered by the tsunami of pain and the joy of TMI. Stocked up in supply, guaranteed revocable, like fire and brimstone, it's smokable. New laundered information, uninformed uniformity, followed by keening and wailing. Don't mistake rewind for reset. Where are we going? Where have you been? Huh? Check your baggage? Let's bargain a plea, negotiate a conviction. There are so few left, right? You didn't do it. Well, don't look at me. Thank God for the fifth. Want a slug? It goes down so easy. Talk about life-altering experiences. Life without pain is a world without rain. Loss of command with easy fit waistband. Guilty as charged, living XXX large. Logic won't work in the land of the jerk. Rationalize that.
I feel like I want to improvise when it comes to my mind. Maybe I will. Do you know, I am looking at these beautiful trees, these beautiful plants, all the surrounding is so much alive. And I remember as a little girl, little baby actually, grew up in a city where everybody was running. There were no trees left. There were only buildings down all over the place.
Digress and wake. Awake in the dark every morning, steal oneself. Make a note of it. Head is a mess of moldering leaves and 14, count them, 14 crows perched on a wire. A murder like unprecedented silence. Up with a start and follow the current through the wall to find the better way to be appreciative. Home is a machete hid under the bed. Home is surrounded by pixelated breasts and Ponzi schemes. Never enough money and several thousand of my neighbors running from a cloud of tear gas. Rise. I walk the floorboards in love. Give my plaintive regards to the Ronettes and Nina Simone and plan a winter garden. It rains outside and the San Francisco Bay sucks in its gut to pose for photos. The windows splinter and admonish. Everyone is so far away. They will need mittens, scarves, chemical hand warmers, sleeping bags, bread and beans. Home is a sun that gives no heat. Home humors me by saying everything's gonna be all right. Home is also warm coffee on the back porch Saturdays and the sudden appearance of a friend bearing a cheap bottle of wine. I write this from a cubicle built on a landfill, a precarious little bird nest. Outside the window there are sundry examples of ugly public art, 5 acacia trees, 2 cyclists, a sandwich shop, and a dead unicorn resting in the lap of a weeping virgin. To the west lies a city of castles, a land of plenty. Home is the roar the voices of several thousand neighbors, a river coursing through the gorges of every street and alley, a massive reverberation of poltergeist.
I am a Muslim at heart. I am an American artist, and I have no guilt. Patti Smith. So we only showed up in the online grid every few weeks. Never a picture, usually just a period dot for the name, no stats, no descriptions, literally as small and vanished as he could be and still be there. He always messaged me first. He always asked me to send a new selfie. What about you? I'm not the woman. I mean, we all come to this a little broken, a little unsure of ourselves, of reality. He was just worse than most. And maybe if somebody sat through the text rants and they'd block him and send him a dick pic when demanded, when he really needed to be crude and blunt to a man, and listen to him puzzle through everything his father said, well, maybe that wouldn't, couldn't, can't be enough, but if it could have, you would have done it, paid it, suffered it, because he can't help it. Because he deserves a chance to be someone you deserve, and because most of all, no one has ever given him a break on this, all this whole secret that's somehow his, and if what you feel means anything bigger at all, then you will give him that break, that redemption. Now, of course, you're the only one who ever will. Well, it's just one more thing. I'm so used to it, to imagine a way to think past. He won't tell his wife, he can't tell his father, he only actually calls me when he's drunk. And all those people at the club, all that blood. The club where he'd hang out in the corner drinking, where he'd sit and text me about how everyone there has AIDS, where the CNN reporters found guys to interview, guys who were creeped out by him, who chatted and blocked him, guys who lost someone they loved that night. I lost someone I loved that night too, but I guess I don't want anyone to know. I guess I just want to remember past to the one time he messaged me from a hotel, a business trip, said we should get a room together, and I teased him and made him send a pic, and it's just his chest and boxers, and I still have it, and sometimes I can almost believe that it still might happen, that one night I'll turn around in a hotel bed and press my ear to that softly bristled dark chest in the picture, that I still might have a chance to wait, to hear his racing heart finally lulled to sleep. Thank you.
Does anybody want to go back to the year 2000? The year 2000! When I was a wee lad in the heartland of America, I felt like I was the peach that has been in a can for 25 years, dusty in the bargain basket, there to kill the poor. I would ride my bicycle down the flat earth, noticing all the green blurring before my green eyes, all the green I made with my green thumb. I had no place to go except for the mini-mart down into town, population 150 mini-mart liquor store owners and 3 McDonald's cooks. 25 miles I would ride to the mini-mart only to buy 2 sticks of Bazooka Joe bubblegum, a quart of milk, a small bag of peanuts, one of those combs over there, a pint of Old Harper, a 3 Musketeers bar, and a ballpoint pen. Paper bags filled with my purchases that I ended up leaving in my bicycle basket, which was chained up to a parking meter in front of the McDonald's. Over 30 sold to the people who worked there. My thought and only thought was to find the one true God who would tell me why I masturbate so much and why the girls always cry. Needless to say, I was interested in the whole crying girl thing, that is. But where did I discover this? What mystical thing told me I would find God in the mini-mart strip mall that is the heartland of America, full of plains but no purple mountains majesty? Well, the cow, holy in some religions, told me the next time I run errands into town that God will meet me in front of the Stop and Go mini-mart, owned by that Spanish-speaking boy. The cow reiterated by telling me that I masturbate too much, and that the girls always cry because I'm just so gosh darn sexy, and that God would explain this to me. I wrote this when I was 15, by the way. Walking through the town as the traffic hit its peak, when all the large-wheeled John Deere tractors took the road for their milk bars and Dr. Peppers, I finally found the Stop and Go mini-mart. In front of the store was a man in a white shawl. I approached. "Are you God?" I asked. "No, God is inside." Inside the mini-mart, a sign hanging from the ceiling said, "God in here," with an arrow pointing at the box full of chocolate bars called I Am. I purchased the I Am bar. Outside, I opened it, and a voice rang out in my ears. Why masturbate when you can sneeze? Well, I said, what about the crying girls? That's something for you to find out later, my son or daughter. Please purchase another I Am chocolate bar from your local Stop and Go Mini Mart.
Davis say, this unbroken line of violence against people of color goes all the way back to slave patrols and criminalizes, demonizes, and profits from the world's most vulnerable people. 50-year-old bipolar schizophrenic black sister Michelle Cusseau shot in the heart by a Phoenix white man wearing a blood badge. Michelle was home telling officers she was okay and to go away. Say her name. What would Bruce Springsteen say? Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is your life. It ain't no secret, my friend. You get killed just for living in your black American skin. What would Curtis Mayfield say? What's going on? What's going on? Hatred, brutality, slave patrol, executions of black sisters. 7-year-old black child Ayanna Stanley Jones was shot dead in her home when Detroit Blood Badges conducted a no-knock raid, fired a flashbang grenade, and shot the first grader who had been sleeping on the couch. 26-year-old black sister Tarika Wilson shot dead by a Lima, Ohio slave patrol with her 14-month-old son Sincere in her arms. Sincere. Little Sincere was shot in the shoulder and hand, but lived. What would Sam Cooke say? A change has got to come. What would Amiri Baraka say? There is no justice in America, but it is the fight for justice that sustains you and sustains me. 92-year-old elder, 92-year-old black sister Katherine Johnson was shot dead by 5 badge bullets in Atlanta when a slave patrol botched a no-knock raid, then planted cocaine and heroin and falsified the police report. 5 badges got prison. Katherine got a violent, terrified end to her life. What would Dorothy Dandridge say? Prejudice is such a waste. It makes you loggy and half alive. It gives you nothing. It takes away. It is our difficult sunlight. You see, you can cage the singer, but not the song. You see, you can club the singer, but not the song. Blood bad shooting an unarmed black woman makes it our outrage song. If you shoot an innocent black child, you make our song protest strong, and poetry's patrol will find you one by one, shine a light on you one by one, no matter how tight you circle your brutal wagons. You see, executing innocence is a tyrant's pose that torture kills. Poetic justice debars blood badge bullets from freedom's will. We cast our vote from bottom's well. Say her name. Say their names. Say her name, because a change is gonna come. Thank you.
This one is by Joe Stein.
All right.
The artist formerly known as Joe Stein. Oh, is that too soon?
Where's my Percocet?
Okay, here we go. Happy feet. No. You don't see it. Eyes are big, cover eyebrows, and life is small. Covers a second, stretches to a minute. Life is torture. Where is the basket? Made of wicker? Doesn't have a thing to do with anything, man! That's where I am, man! You don't understand! Wish you could, man! Left it. Oh, say goodbye every day! doesn't really go anywhere, sits alone under trees, sleeps in pairs every night in different sleeping facilities that are gone.
Is he a musician, your brother?
During our meal, I would say, during our meal, I say, would you look at that? The body is a temple. Of doom? Of license? Of what? Thalia averts her eyes, because young men are a curse of pennies. She hates their violence and playful kingship, and now she drops off, slowing herself into placid. There is a sign that says, "No girls allowed." The magazine says, "Party sensibly." I get an email that says, "Dick Clark is dying, but still welcomes feeding." Still? Still. We doing okay? We're surviving? The special sanctity of girlhood, lost and broken bullshit detector. We're adrift in tasty coins, tarnished and strong. The sight of men is an urn for my ashes. These collarbone points, lizard bellies, and layered blondes, dusky good looks, and ass like June peaches. These things! My rolling appreciation eyes slink, slide down from crown to soles. Thought gives way to watery salutations, like slow drinking with spitting after. A 2-hour gibbering hunger marathon, the leaves going to seed, milkless and wandering. Wrecked babies / guilt babies / pink laundromat babies. We're a 2-person mob. Oh, Thalia, the desert god hates us and will marry us off to amorous bounders. Holcoglossum amazonium, a breed of orchid that moves water within its stems, bends and turns in on itself to pollinate, completely inbred, without the use of wind, insects, scent, or sticky fluids. I fell in love with the janitor. I fell in love with the doorman. I fell in love with the middle manager. I fell in love with the delivery boy. I fell in love with the linguistics teacher. I fell in love with the pickpocket. Where'd he go? We don't ask for much, do we, Thalia? Our bare hands extended, a hiss of chrysanthemum, yellow and delicate. Thank you.
Math and words, having amazing grammatical prowess, that only opens more portals into performance mathematics. So, okay, that was it. And I wrote this the day before.
At 1:30?
Yeah, probably late at night. Sometimes what life is a fantastic beer shit. Because it's you who did it. And baby, you're good. I would know. It's about me and my beer shit now, okay? My life is not fantastic. I was born in a state I cannot afford to live in currently. As to say, I'm low on currency is an understatement. I'm behind on currency. I owe on currency. And I'm fabulous and stuff, but living in the red, I'm not proud of it. But sometimes it could be you or I in similar predicaments. Circumstantial strings of incidents can bring just about anybody down who shouldn't actually be down. The crime is our monopoly, with ours meaning theirs, and maybe I'm fortunate enough to be thrown a bone by rich USA, just keeps wagging it in my face, and I just keep buying it instead of simply growing it. So instead, I'm showing it and knowing that I'm priceless. This poor state will pass. Life will continue on as if I were never here. And to quote Bruno, the only things that will survive us is science, art, and poetry.
I went over because, Jim locked himself out of the house, and I promised him not to
to say anything about, you know, locking himself out of the house. I'm not going to mention that, but I will mention that to get in, he did throw a rock through the window, and we had to fix it. But that has nothing really to do with this poem. It's just I wanted to remember my friends while I still have them. But thinking of work, this is called Wood, Bone, Blood. It's about working with my father. Dragging my palm along the table's edge, I slide my hand against the grain. A sliver breaks beneath my skin. What have you learned from your mistake, my dad says. Look at the damage you've done by moving before you think. Dad points out a crack wide as a sunfish bone. Never go against the grain, he says, taking a needle from the cloth he stapled to the bench. He strikes a match, begins to tell about the buck he found 3 days dead, with its lower jaw shot off. I want to shut my eyes and hide my fear, but my eyes are held in the tender gaze of his finger's shadow. I watch him heat the needle's point. Don't jerk, he says before he pricks my hand. The trick is touching his touch. Focused on my hand, he talks of that starved deer, its tongue touching the grass. He says, if you wound an animal, track it, find it, put it out of its misery. Finding the sliver tip, he pulls it, I bleed. He says, lick it, a little pain never hurt. Replacing the needle, he returns to his work, his shadow sliding across the table. The scratch of sandpaper bears witness to the even grain. A bead of my blood grows.